Hey, welcome to 49cc Scoot. My name's Brent, and today I'll be showing the installation of a Malossi Force Master 2 fuel controller on my TMAX 500. Before we get started, let's look at why you may want to consider a fuel controller. A couple of the most common modifications to motorcycles and scooters are air filters and exhausts. If you're going to be swapping those out, you may want to include a fuel controller while you're at it. Any modification that can affect the air-fuel ratio or fueling requirements may be more effective when combined with a fuel controller. In some cases, you can make less power, go slower, or perhaps just see no change at all if fueling isn't adjusted. It's also possible to cause lean conditions that could lead to overheating, and in worst case scenarios, engine damage. Even if not that severe, you may have drivability issues like surging, stumbling, or bogging in certain conditions. If possible, find a fuel controller that has tunes included or available to match your setup. In my case, the Malossi unit has a tune for Malossi's exhaust and an air filter. I'm using a Yoshimura exhaust and a Malossi air filter, but this is as close as I saw for a preset tune that matches my setup in anything available for my bike. If you can't find a pre-made tune that works, then you're going to need to find a tuner that allows for at least adjustments, if not totally custom maps. One note specifically about the Malossi Force Master 2 is that sometimes it's listed as a CDI, but it's a fuel controller and it does not change the ignition timing. So be aware of that and look elsewhere if you want to make changes in the ignition timing. You'll need to remove some body panels in order to make connections and route wiring. I'm not going to cover that here, but I will link videos showing the removal and installation in detail, and the service manual can also be a great guide. The right side panel here needs to come off, the cover surrounding the fuel tank, and at least this small panel on the left side. The controller is intended to be mounted in the storage area under the seat, right about where I'm holding it, but there's nowhere for wires to pass through, so you will need to drill a hole in the storage box. There's a flat area in the front right corner that leads out to where you need the wires to go. I chose a grommet from an assortment that I had on hand that was large enough for all of the connectors to fit through. I used a step drill to make a 1-inch hole. I put all of the connectors through the grommet, beginning with the largest. Then I passed the connectors through the hole in the seat bucket before pushing the grommet into place. After looking at where the wires needed to go, I realized that I was going to have to be careful routing around the fuel tank and the frame because of sharp edges. So I wanted to run the wires through a cutout in the plastic surrounding the tank intended for cable routing. In order to make room for the larger connectors to pass through, I had to remove the lower hose from the rollover valve and get it out of the way. Then I got all of the wires and connectors through and reconnected the rollover valve. You'll need to be mindful of wire routing as you proceed, being sure to protect the wiring from potential damage. Next, I started the connections by tapping into the throttle position sensor wiring. You can see the throttle position sensor through this hole in the frame. The TPS connector needs to be removed to create slack in the wiring to make it easier to work with. So I used a small flat screwdriver to gently pry this small tab up and then push the connector off. Then the wiring can be pulled out so it's easier to work on. You could push the wire covering back and make a connection near the TPS connector, but I wanted to splice in further back where I thought it would fit a little better, so I very carefully cut the covering and spread it apart in the area where I wanted to work. I needed to tap into the yellow TPS wire, which is very simple using the connector that Malossi supplied. I positioned the wire so it sat in the cutout right above the slot in the connector. Then I closed the connector by hand and finished pressing it closed with a pair of pliers. This pushes the wire down and into the slot so it creates a connection. Then I pushed back the protective covering on it and installed the yellow wire from the fuel controller into the tap. When using taps like this one, I like to check the connection before moving on because it is possible that the wire moves or otherwise doesn't form a good connection. The easiest way to check is with a multimeter. Connect one probe of the meter to the center terminal in the TPS connector where the yellow wire is, and the other end to the terminal as shown. You can do a simple continuity check which will buzz if there's a connection, or look at the actual resistance value which should be 0 or very near it. If you see a higher resistance value or don't get a beep, you need to take a look at the connection and see what went wrong and fix it. After I was sure I had a good connection, I pushed the protective cover back into place before using electrical tape all around the area. Then I reconnected the throttle position sensor. I made the fuel injector connections next. You can find the stock connectors in this bundle. Disconnect each one by pushing on this tab and then pulling them apart. There are 2 connector sets, and it's very important to match the right ones with the stock connectors. One pair from the fuel controller has red, purple, and green wires, and those get plugged into the stock black connectors. The other pair, with red, white, and pink wires, go to the green connectors. Once connected, the covering can be reinstalled and the bundle should be secured. I dealt with these 2 wires next. The blue wire is not used, so I wrapped it with electrical tape and secured it to the rest of the controller's wiring. The black wires are for grounding, and Malossi says to connect them to this CVT cover bolt. I removed the bolt, put it through the ring terminal, and then reinstalled the bolt and torqued it to 10 Newton meters or 7.2 foot-pounds. Next, I routed the orange wire from the Force Master to the ignition coil located at the left front of the scooter. I unplugged the orange coil wire and then connected the female terminal from the fuel controller to the coil and the male connector to the wire that I removed. That took care of all of the connections that I needed to make, so I went around the scoot and secured all of the wiring away from sharp edges, things that could crush them, or any other dangers. Then I used Velcro to attach the fuel controller to the side of the storage box. The controller does have holes that could be used for mounting, but Velcro or hook and loop tape makes it easy to install without extra holes, and it can be pulled off to make it easier to see the dials if needed. At this point, the installation is mostly complete, but the controller does need to be calibrated to the throttle position sensor. I began by moving the dial marked low so it pointed to the red arrow at the bottom of the controller. Then, with the switch in the run position and the side stand up, I turned the ignition on without touching the throttle. I watched all 3 of the LEDs light up and then turn off before turning the ignition switch off. This calibrates the controller to the closed throttle position. Then I moved the low dial back to 0 and set the high dial so it pointed to the red arrow. I held the throttle wide open, then turned the key on while continuing to hold the throttle open. Again, I watched all 3 lights turn on, then off before turning the key off. Then the throttle could be released, and I moved the high dial back to 0. This calibrates the fuel controller to the fully open throttle position. The final part of the calibration process was a check to ensure that it was working, beginning with setting the mid dial to the red arrow. Then I turned the key on and moved the throttle. With the throttle closed, the green light should be on. With the throttle wide open, the red light should be on, and the amber light should come on around the middle of throttle open. Everything looked good, so I could move on to setting the dials where they need to be. I set the mid dial back to 0. The far right dial that says maps below it is how you choose between 4 fuel curves that Malossi provides. Set the dial to 0 for a TMAX 500 with a Malossi air filter and exhaust. 1 is intended to be used with Malossi's 66mm pistons and the stock cylinder combined with Malossi camshafts, air filter, and exhaust. 2 is for Malossi's 560cc big bore kit paired with their exhaust and air filter, and finally 3 is intended for Malossi's 560cc kit with their cams, air filter, and exhaust. Mine has a Malossi air filter and a Yoshimura exhaust, so I set the maps dial to 0. Then all of the other dials should be moved to the 0 marks to use the map as it was made by Malossi. Each low, mid, and high dial can add or subtract 20% from Malossi's fuel curves in different areas. The low dial affects 0 to 2000 RPM, the mid dial alters 2000 to 6000 RPM, and the high dial is for above 6000 RPM. I set all dials to 0 and rode the scooter, and it seemed to improve some part throttle drivability issues that I was having after the exhaust installation. At that point, it can be left alone, or you can try to further dial it in with something like a wideband air fuel gauge and a dyno, or maybe just riding. If this video has been helpful, please give it a like. Subscribe for more TMAX and other scooter content, and click the bell to receive notifications so you won't miss anything. Thank you for watching.